Hi, good afternoon. All right. So, how are you feeling? How is everyone feeling?
네, 안녕하세요. 만나서 너무 반갑습니다. 네, 먼저 초대해 주셔서 너무 감사하고요. 오늘 감독님과 재밌게 이야기 나누고 싶어요.
Nice to meet you all, and I'm one of the directors from Korea, and thank you for inviting me here in a wonderful event. And sana maganda po yung account and with our director.
Hello po, ako po si Maria 𝐶𝐿 and I'm nervous. But I'm very happy to be here, so thank you for inviting me, and I hope this is a fun session.
So, briefly, I'd like to just, obviously we know from the KCC, we know all of you, but we'd like to please kind of introduce yourself, a little bit of what you do, and yeah. I'll start with Director Koo-jung.
네, 저는 최선의 삶 스노우볼이라는 영화를 연출한 이우정이고요. 이 영화는 저의 첫 번째 장편 저예산 독립 영화입니다.
She is director Miss Lee Woo-jung, and ito po yung first movie na ginawa niya, independent movie. The title is Snowball.
And it's showing in the Korean Film Festival as well. Right.
Hello everyone, I'm Maria 𝐶𝐿. I've been in post-production since 2016, so I've been an editor for 6 years. But I recently went into directing last year with my short film, It's Raining Frogs Outside. So yay!
Which is also showing.
Which is also showing in this year's Cinemalaya.
Thank you, directors. Recently we have observed that independent cinema and films is receiving a lot of attention, more than before. So I'll just jump into it and ask a few questions. So I'd like to talk more about it, of course, with you guys. So as mentioned before, independent films are prominently growing compared with other films in other years. So as a film creator and director, I'd like to ask how you are observing this phenomenon. I'll start with Maria.
I'm going to answer this question through the lens of post-production because I'm really an editor before I became a director. So I've been observing the landscape as a member of the post-production team and not as a director because I just started directing last year. So in my experience, in our post house, we've been accepting various types of projects from mainstream to independent. But when the pandemic hit, there were really more independent films coming to us, independent series, independent films, independent shorts. So I guess because of the challenges of the pandemic presented, the industry also adjusted. So like they made use of what was available, which is like a small budget, and everybody became more creative because of the pandemic.
And maybe the isolation also kind of,
yes. And the pandemic was so absurd that I became a director. So.
무엇보다 제가 필리핀 독립영화의 사정은 모르지만 이제 한국의 경우에는 제가 학교를 졸업하고 영화를 계속 준비하고 그 영화가 엎어지고 그러는 저의 개인적인 힘든 시간을 보내고 있는 와중에도 계속해서 좋은 독립영화들이 만들어지고 그 독립영화들을 상영해주는 독립예술 전용관들이 버텨주고 있어가지고 그리고 또 그곳을 고정적으로 찾는 적은 수지만 그 관객층들이 있어서 그 흐름을 보면서 그 흐름이 방 안에 있는 저한테 확실하게 힘을 줬다고 생각해요.
First, actually we don't know what is the independent film industry here in the Philippines, pero based po sa kanya in Korea, kahit dati po daw wala siyang mga project na nagawa, wala siyang mga work, pero yung mga iba't ibang independent film director, they still have their own projects. And in Korea po daw, there is a center na pwede manood po yung mga independent films. So there is a small audience, but still they are really royal na manonood po sila ng mga independent film in the center. And kaya parang doon po daw niya nafe-feel yung mga support and cheer from them na marami palang talagang nakasupport po yung mga royal fan po sa mga independent film.
Great. Thank you so much. So also moving back to, going back to the topic, the growth within the independent sector. So there is an interest right now in Asian independent films. In general, there's an increasingly international. Earlier, like Joy was talking about the lab and all these independent filmmakers making it big internationally. So I believe this development would have brought lots of changes in independent film production. So can you explain how it changed compared to the past? And is there a lot more opportunities now? Currently?
먼저 한국의 경우는 일단 그 관객분들이 영화를 보실 때 그 티켓값 안에 한국 영화 발전 기금이 포함되어 있고 그 기금들이 모여서 독립영화의 제작을 지원하는 시스템이 좀 되어 있어요. 그게 오래됐고요. 물론 모든 시스템을 모두가 완벽하진 않죠. 항상 좀 부족함이 있겠지만 그 시스템이 이렇게 만들어진 지는 되게 오래됐고 계속 조금씩 그게 더 발전되고 있어서 그게 영화진흥위원회고 영화진흥위원회에서 1년에 2번씩 독립영화 제작 지원이라는 큰 공모가 있고요. 저의 경우도 그 기금을 받아서 영화를 찍었었어요.
In Korean side, kasi meron po silang COPIC or COVIS na tinatawag. Actually, two times a year, meron po daw silang support, production support and develop support fee na galing po doon mismo. So actually, yung movie niya rin, may support na production support po. And parang gusto niya po sabihin, sa ticket po daw in Korea, meron din po siyang may naka-discount na production support and develop support. So, ang dami po daw support na nangyayari sa Korea. So, yung may talagang system na to, matagal na po daw, meron na siya sa Korea.
근데 제가 약간 영진이를 홍보하려고 나온 건 아니지만
Hindi naman masyadong support hindi niya support yung mga COVID, talaga special. Pero, yan daw yung nangyayari sa independent film in Korea.
네, 근데 제가 학교에서 영화를 배우던 시절부터 뭔가 그 학교에서 단편 영화를 만들잖아요. 그때도 뭔가 선배들부터 후배들까지 다 같이 그 철이 되면 다 같이 지원을 하고 다 같이 떨어지는 그런 것들을 반복했거든요.
So, nung college student siya, sama niya yung mga senior or junior or yung mga freshmen, sabay sila mag-register kasi they will pick daw, and then kung ano yung magandang movie, magsusupport sila, may makukuha sila ng cost. Kaya lahat po sila mag-register, lahat po sila mag-backsack, kaya walang napasado. So, ganun po daw nangyayari.
It's good to know that there's a really great support system in Korea. Yeah. So, throwing a question to Maria. Yeah, same question as well.
Okay. I'm gonna answer this again through a post-production lens because I'm an editor before I directed. So I started editing in 2016. I graduated in 2016 actually. That was the year that I interned after college. During college, then I graduated, then I got employed as an editor. So observing the narratives that the directors were giving our post house from 2016 to 2022, there came a time that the narratives they wanted us to edit were becoming a little bit repetitive. They had the same arc, the structure, and the narrative and the emotions. And then came the pandemic, which overhauled everything. So in terms of narrative and taste, everyone was so lost during the pandemic. So everyone made very weird stuff, including me, during the pandemic because everyone lost control of everything and they began questioning the structures already present in narrative in terms of cinema. So that's for me in terms of narrative. In terms of support, because I directed last year, I finally got the support because it's my first time to be funded for a short film. I got rejected, I think, 3 times before I ventured into directing. So when I went into directing, and I also have a short film development now, I just felt that there's a really wide selection of support present compared to when I started in 2016. So.
Alright. So a lot of new opportunities popping up as well. So I'm really obviously a fan of independent film, and I'm more happy now that that there are these really good working environments within Korea and now for independent cinema. So in this flow, the appearance and activities of course, since we have a full female speakers for this afternoon, for this session, sorry. And there's been increased both in significantly of female directors and female led productions. Do you have any piece of advice for soon-to-be female creators as well?
제가 어떤 조언을 할 만큼의 파워가 없어가지고 부끄러운데요.
Actually, I'm shy to say kasi I'm just fresh also to giving the advice.
근데 확실히 얼마 전부터 이런 질문들을 제가 꼭 받게 되더라고요. 예전에는 아예 없었던 질문이었던 것 같은데 이 질문이 계속 여성 창작자들한테 나오는 것은 이게 남성 창작자들한테는 질문되어지지 않는 질문들이잖아요.
Actually, yung question na to, ang dami niya daw na-receive even in other questionnaire kasi this female filmmaker na question na to, hindi naman binibigay sa male filmmaker.
그래서 이런 여성 창작자들에게 하는 질문에서 이 여성이라는 단어를 빼고 이제 이야기하는 날이 올 때까지 저는 여성 창작자들이 좀 서로를 많이 응원해야 된다고 생각해요. 저 개인적으로도 이제 한 편의 영화가 만들어질 때까지 저에게 개인적으로 가장 많은 힘을 줬던 것은 같이 이야기하고 싸웠던 여성 창작자들이거든요.
For her, he doesn't want to differentiate between male and female kasi we are both filmmaker. So she wants to keep trying para mawala yung ibig sabihin ng female and male filmmaker. Because while she shooted the film, halos lahat po daw nagsusupport and share sa kanya was a female filmmaker too.
Definitely. So yeah, thank you so much for calling attention as well. So I think it's a discussion that we need to talk about. So yeah, we are blurring the lines between gender and great filmmaking. But again, I'll throw the question once again, but more for like opportunities. So how is it in the context of female within the Philippine industry for Maria in filmmaking?
I get this question a lot also, and I don't know why I get it a lot because I didn't become a director thinking that I want to be a female filmmaker. I just wanted to be a filmmaker. So like I didn't have that gender thing in mind. So I began discussing this with my team, which is present today. Hello. So I kept on asking them, why do we keep on getting these questions? Is there really a lack of female filmmakers, or is there a lack of female narratives? Are we so used to like non-female takes on things, like patriarchal takes on structures, on narratives, on stories, that when we see something that is made by a female, we tokenize it and we're so shocked by it? Is that the problem? So like, hanggat nakukuha po natin itong question na to English. As long as we keep getting this question, it means there's still a problem because people are still segregating the female-male thing, which is like, it's 2022, so like there are a lot of other things we should care about. But in terms of like opportunities, our short film, Returning Frogs Outside, will be showing at this year's Seoul International Women's Film Festival. So it's a women's film festival, so yay. I think there's still a need for like a push because I think there are still a population of female filmmakers who are intimidated by the proliferation of male filmmakers in the scene. But as a female editor and now director, let's go. I think let's just do it. So yeah.
All right. At this point, again, I feel like we're hogging a lot of questions to our speakers. We'd like to open the floor for any questions from the audience.
want to ask Director Lee and later si Maria. For Director Lee, I wanted to ask, how difficult is it, or probably easy, to distribute independent films in Korea and abroad? And for Direct Maria naman, my question is, when young directors are more adventurous than the middle-aged directors, in terms of structure, the way they present their story, and even the subject matter. But how relatable talaga are the movies of younger directors and independent filmmakers today? Do they consider yung realities of Philippine society when they start doing a movie, or talagang they just go wild with ideas? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. 힘들죠. 근데 그게 뭐 독립영화는 독립영화대로 힘들고 상업영화는 상업영화대로의 힘듦이 있다고 생각해요. 영화가 정말로 혼자 만들 수 없고 스태프과 배우분들 다 함께 만들어야 하기 때문에 작은 영화는 일 경우에 예산이 작아서 작은 돈으로 그 촬영을 다 맞춰야 하는 어려움이 쉽게 있다면, 또 반대로 이제 예산이 커지면은 그 돈을 투자한 사람들부터 해서 더 많은 사람들의 동의를 구해야 되는 게 있어서 더 이렇게 좀 가볍게 움직이기 힘든 또 어려움이 있을 거라고 생각해요. There's both difficult kahit sa commercial film or sa independent film, because in independent film, if we have a small budget, parang kunti lang yung risk kasi small lang siya, so we don't need any approval from the other head or production team. Pero kapag malaki po yung budget, it means dami pong kailangan approval, so kailangan pupunta pa sa mga iba pang production team kung payag ba sila sa ganitong cost, ganitong expenses. So parang both of them are difficult then.
그래서 이제 저의 경우는 독립영화를 만들었기 때문에 그런 예산을 떠나서 그 영화 안에 감독의 뭐 코어가 있어야 된다, 뭐 이런 얘기들을 하는 그 내적인 부담감이 더 컸던 것 같아요.
So as an independent director, parang in core side, inside yung mas parang nahirapan po daw siya. Doon po daw parang mabigat po yung nararamdaman niya.
For the question po, I will admit that, especially for me at least, if you watch my short film, you will get that adventure-wise, it's very adventurous. So I admit to that and I accept that. However, in terms of like exploration and like pagiging aware po sa current state of the Philippines, for example, in my short film, it's very, very personal. It's about me and my relationship with my hometown Zambales. But at the same time, there's a part there that shows the current condition in Zambales, which is about the West Philippine Sea. So I think, because I'm at the tail end of the Gen Z and my other fellow Gen Z filmmakers, no matter how experimental or like adventurous we get, we still retain that like consciousness, because experimental consciousness of the filmmaker is still the current consciousness, because that's what we're currently experiencing and we're only putting it into film in a non-narrative way.
Great, thank you so much. Any more questions?
Hello po again. Good afternoon. I'm Nathan Yanto from Kdramadiary. Before I ask my question, I would just like to say thank you to both Director Lee Won-jung and Director Maria Estrada Paiso. You are an inspiration to all filmmakers regardless of gender. So thank you so much for being yourselves. And yeah, so the question is, what was the most fulfilling and what was the most challenging part when you directed Snowball and It's Raining Frogs Outside? Thank you.
Would you like to start?
Everything was super hard, but then again, what I keep telling my team, easy and is not the same with worthwhile. So the hardships were really worth it. We encountered a lot of problems. We were delayed by 2 weeks, which was a very, very long period of time because we were heavy on post-production. So we spent a lot of money on RT-PCR because we shot in 2021. So our grant was slashed because of RT-PCR. So we also had the problem of making it rain frogs because I'm very stubborn and I don't like to chroma the frogs. So I want to make it rain frogs. So I actually, the people in my production team actually scolded me because I was so stubborn about it. So that's another problem. My DOP, my director of photography just learned how to swim on set because we had an underwater shoot. So my actress was a first-time actress. I'm a first-time director. Everything was challenging. Post-production was especially challenging because our VFX artist, his computer almost died because of the graphics I wanted him to make. So everything was challenging. So I guess the most fulfilling part was when I was exporting. Because when we finally finished the film and everything was done and everyone could finally sleep, I was so happy because everyone was so tired. So when I clicked the export button, I looked at everyone and we just smiled and slept and ordered food because we were so tired. But the journey to that moment was a very long one, and it showed how tight I was with my friends because I worked on this with people I've been working with since 2016 also. They've been the same set of people. And add to that factor that it was a sambal film, so even my mother was involved. So the whole film is actually the very fulfilling experience for me, the whole film.
There was a follow-up question from Direct Joey. Were any amphibians harmed during the production?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's a very, nakakuha ko po talaga yan. We bought the frogs, the toy frogs. They were toy frogs and we spray painted them. The frogs in the last scene, spoiler, there was one live frog, but I kept her as a pet. But she was very sensitive to the temperature, so she died after 4 months. So I'm so sorry. But I tried to keep her alive, but she died. So
What's her name? Sorry.
Maya the frog. I'm so sorry, Maya. I couldn't keep you alive. But yeah, only Maya died, and we kept her alive for as long as we can, but no other amphibians. Everything was twice and chroma. So
Rest in peace, Maya.
yes, rest in power.
Alright, Dr. Lee.
예, 스노볼이 저한테 아까 첫 번째 장편 영화였기 때문에 이제 만들어진 제작비로 프로듀서가 이제 회차를 딱 짜잖아요. 저는 이 장편을 만들기까지 좀 시간이 오래 걸렸었어서 저라는 사람을 좀 의심을 많이 했었어요. 내가 영화를 할 수 있는 사람일까?
Actually, ang tagal po daw na period na nangyari nito, parang nahirapan po daw siya mag-shoot. So, unang-una, iniisip niya, kaya ko ba talaga? Kaya ko ba gawa ng project na to?
그래서 이제 스케줄 표가 나왔을 때 이게 마치 도미노 같이 한 회차라도 넘기거나 오버하면은 그 뒤가 다 무너지고 어그러진다는 공포가 너무 컸어가지고 스태프가 약속한 그 시간 내에 이 전체 회차를 끝마쳐야겠다. 끝마치지 않으면 나는 영화할 자격이 없다 같은 생각을 되게 세게 했었어서 그게 제일 부담스러웠어요.
She pressured herself na there is a plan para kasi yung budget po nila, may plano po talaga kasi alam independent movie po siya. So kapag hindi niya talaga ma-swak sa plant na yun, parang iniisip niya sa sarili niya na ay hindi na ako mag-filmmaker, ayoko na. Parang ganun po daw yung sinasabi niya sa sarili niya.
그래서 회차는 잘 마쳤습니다.
Kaya natapos po aswell, kaya makita niyo po talaga yung final na Snowball movie.
We're excited to see it during the 2022 Korean Film Festival, which is showing soon. So allow me to redeem myself for asking a question. I'd like to ask a question. Are there any plans in the future for both of you doing commercial films? Maybe Maria?
Mag-promote na lang po. My short film, It's Raining from Outside, is currently screening in this year's Cinemalaya. We're part of Shorts A. We're screening at CCP and Ayala Cinemas and select SM Cinemas. And it's also going to screen at this year's Seoul International Women's Film Festival from the end of August until September 2. And I have a short film in development and a feature film in development. So I hope I get support.
Do you have Can you say a little bit about this film that you're brewing right now, or is it NDA?
Hindi naman po, char. Yung pong, my short film development is titled Objects Do Not Randomly Fall From the Sky. It's a response to It's Raining Frogs Outside, and it's about a young girl who turns into a fish and recounts the oppression experienced by the fishermen in Zambales. So, yung pong feature ko naman, tungkol siya sa memory ng isang girl. Para kung may, oh my gosh, Tagalog. I'm doing this informal trilogy of frogs, objects, and karaoke. And it's tackling human memory from the personal collective and the personal and the collective.
Amazing. Looking forward to them. And then,
그 스몰볼 같은 경우는 원작이 있지만 그래도 저의 과거의 개인적인 경험과 감정들이 많이 들어있던 영화예요. 그래서 다음 영화는 어떤 캐릭터와 이야기로 좀 더 센 감정들을 해보고 싶어서 개인적으로 지금 스릴러 장르를 너무 하고 싶어하고 있습니다.
In Snowball, there is something she experienced before in her past life. So gusto niya po for the next future project, maybe more wider than this Snowball. So parang gusto niya po na matry ng thriller genre.
Alright, so I guess for you.
Last na po, we are currently developing 2 shorts for this year's Cinema. So, we have Ilog na hindi nagtatapos, The River That Never Ends, and ang Pagliligtas sa Dalagang Bukid. So, this year's Cinema po. Yay!
Cinema is thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Maria and Director Lee. Thank you so much. Amazing insights as well into independent cinema within Korea, and of course, looking forward to both of your films. Seeing both of your films soon. So, okay, thank you so much. Alright. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.